Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 3 p.m. on Saturday in Queensland, Australia. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you so much for joining us. Earlier this week, number 5,000 exoplanet was confirmed. I hear there are more. However, this was the 5,000th one that was confirmed. And you can help confirm them. I'm going to have to look into that and see what exactly that requires.
Yeah. Hi, Scott.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And just so you all know, Scott was here early and we had a little discussion beforehand, and he brought up something that might be a really good topic for another show. You want to start at the top with Scott, so we should show all of his comments. Yep. There we go.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. We love the title too.
So do I. That's why I did it.
And we like rockets.
Yep. So then
that was our response. Yeah.
Oh, you were reading these. I wasn't. So
yeah, before. It's not a bad idea. And there's Mark Robler has done glitter bomb packages for porch pirates, and he's loaded them up with smartphones, and there's some very funny footage from that. I think he's got one more. Yeah.
And then
he's talking. I asked him about Pong sets.
Yep.
And that's what I'm thinking we will talk about in a future show.
Yeah. Well, we'll hook you up with that before the show, just so that you can get some of that. But then
we can do that.
But then we'll do a show about it too, because that should get out there.
That's a really great topic for our show.
Yep.
In particular. All right. So tonight's topic, though, is different ways of launching things off the Earth. We'll be back in 6.8 seconds. Jeff took the lead for tonight's show, and he will be telling us about different ways of launching things off the Earth and propulsion systems. Jeff, what are we learning tonight?
Here we go. Okay, well, launching things off Earth. First off, we normally discuss things that you can do to get directly involved in space, astronomy, or science. But this is a passion for me, and it gets me interested in being more involved in space. So I'm just hoping that it'll do the same for some other people.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. I like to talk about movies because, again, you get a chance to visualize things. Hi, Cliff. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hi, Cliff.
And movies. I like songs. I like we know some folk songs. So that's it's all very inspiring.
I think I mentioned them in one of our really, really early shows.
Very likely. Very likely. Yeah. So this is a good topic though for that purpose. Yeah, and
I'd have preferred to have a discussion group for it, but StreamYard isn't really set up for that. So, we'll discuss as much as we can with your comments, but your comments are in a 10-second delay, so we'll try to get back to them, whatever we happen to be talking about at the time.
Right.
So yeah, it's not the best venue for a discussion, but I just wanted to throw a bunch of things out there of what we've currently got. And
awesome.
So I'm going to focus on things that are at least theoretically possible. We've either built them or know what needs to be done to be able to build them.
All righty.
And so we're going to bypass things like this. I actually consider this to be the first science adjacent method to get to the moon. Um, Basically, tie a bunch of swans to a. Um, I heard it was a basket, but this is just a framework, and fly to the moon. And there have been balloons to the moon, all of that stuff. This is from the 17th century, so in the
Mm.
1600s. I don't think they realized that the air stops at some point.
Oh, yeah, we've learned a lot since
Yeah,
then.
that wouldn't they wouldn't have any reason to know that
Right.
the air
Either way.
stops. Yeah,
Yeah, either way.
yeah. So that was actually sort of viable. That's why I included it, just because at the
Certainly imaginative, and
yeah
that's the beginning of it.
yeah.
To imagine what's possible. Do geese fly higher?
Well, these are swans, but
I
yeah,
know, but
geese actually do fly higher.
geese fly like 30,000 feet.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but swans are actually bigger
Okay.
and nastier. If you can imagine that.
Wow.
Yes, they're actually nastier than geese.
Okay.
We're from the Midwest northern areas where we get Canadian geese a bunch, and
Yeah.
those puppies are nasty.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and so I think the first really viable launcher that we've have in our literature was the space cannon. And everyone pretty much knows about Jules Verne's um, cannon where he launched men to the moon.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to discuss things like H.G. Wells, who at the same time had a method to get to the moon, but that was anti-gravity stuff.
Yep.
And I'm just going to call that fantasy rather than science fiction, because it was have no way of knowing how to make it, what the effects would be or anything like that. So anti-gravity is kind of out, along with flying carpets and the like.
Okay.
But I don't think Verne was actually the first one. There's actually a novel called The Brick Moon that was in Guten. You can find it on Gutenberg Press. It's about launching an artificial satellite, basically made of glazed brick, for bouncing radio signals off of.
So there's some basis in science or
right
pseudoscience.
Yeah, and they
for the ones you're talking about tonight.
Okay. They had cannon technology at the time. They just couldn't build it. And this first shot on the left is actually built hardware from the 60s. From the 1960s, we were looking at a different way of launching into space.
Okay.
And so they were trying it out. This is a theoretical one that launches from the sea. I don't know what the advantages of that would be, aside from the fact that you can aim it better, because you don't need all the structure to hold it up.
Just so you know, your cursor is not showing up in.
Oh.
If you're over on the actual.
Okay, I have to just tell you whether it's left or right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Do more describing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. We found out this week that you can share a slideshow on directly on StreamYard, and not by sharing your screen, which means that you don't get all of the little visual garbage that you normally get. So I decided to try that. Well, guess I need to be aware of that you can't see because I'm used to using my mouse as a pointer. So
right.
And this isn't the only hardware in the 60s. Wasn't the only hardware that was actually made for this. There's actually a guy in the 70s, maybe early 80s, but I think it was 70s, was building something like this. And unfortunately, he was getting a lot of funding from some nations that were terrorist friendly. And someone was responsible for him dying of lead poisoning. So that ended that. But it is viable, actually. Now, the barrel has to be really, really long. Well, you could use it for sending, non-fragile stuff, really easily.
Water, in other words.
Yeah, water, anything that won't break from it. But also, and this was something that that Vern knew, not, yeah, Vern knew, if you make the barrel long enough, the acceleration is slow enough that you won't turn people into meat paste.
Hmm.
So you could actually launch people with a space cannon. You just have to make the barrel long enough that the acceleration is within human tolerances. There are pluses and minuses for this, for space exploration. One, you don't have to put any of the launching energy on the vehicle itself. It's all on the ground. You don't have to lift, you know, 9 point something times the weight of the vehicle in fuel just to get it off the earth.
Okay.
You can just basically load it up here, and since you don't have to lift that mass, you need less energy to launch this way.
And I think about something like this would be good for places like the moon.
Oh yeah, much easier
with a smaller gravity well. So
yeah,
maybe we won't be able to really do that from Earth. We may, however, be able to do that from other places.
Yeah.
More amenable to that.
Yeah. And we can do it from Earth. It might not be cost effective. Another thing that the moon would have going for it would be that it doesn't have an atmosphere to slow the thing down.
Right.
The other negative about the space cannon is you still have to build in all of the stuff into the into the vehicle for how does it move once it gets up there.
Okay.
So if you want to just send a pile of water to the moon and don't care what shape it's in when it impacts the moon,
yeah.
There you go. But it's hard to maneuver it unless you make the barrel long enough that you can have like fragile thrusters or something like that that will survive the launch. So there might be a reason why we're not doing that, but it's still a viable option.
Okay. And with all engineering, works, you have trade-offs.
Yeah.
Positives, negatives, all that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do these in a somewhat time and somewhat of a chronological order. Yeah, thank you. The word went away. But I'm not David, so I don't know all of the history on this. So
yeah, David probably does.
Take my my timelines with a grain of salt here.
All right.
So so next up we have the one that we all know about, rockets.
Yay, rockets.
Yep.
Except they explode.
Well, some do, some don't.
Right.
That's the thing. And we've got two basic kinds of rockets, solid fuel and liquid fuel. Solid fuel, very compact, efficient, but they don't have an on-off. Well, they have an on switch. They just don't have
on.
Yeah, they don't have an off switch.
There's no off.
Oh, hey, David.
David showed up.
Yeah.
Hi, David.
Hey, David. One very practical concept and one that is good for moon mining is the mass driver. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. Space. Space cannon, mass driver is just a different way. Instead of using explosives, using using magnetic, and I think that would work really well on the moon because you don't have atmosphere to basically break the vehicle as it's going.
Right. And we're very happy to see you here, Dave. I know you have lots and lots of rain there. I hope you're staying safe, and glad you could be with us.
Oh, he's talking about a series of scoops on a conveyor belt. Yeah, that would work really well, especially someplace that doesn't have a huge gravity well. Especially asteroid mining. This would be perfect for asteroid mining. The Earth collected, catapulted into moon orbit. Yeah. And yeah.
Okay.
And the thing with this is you need to have a catcher. I mean, one of the things that we talk about a lot is space debris. So it needs to stay together. If you just launch rocks in a bucket without the bucket, you just basically shotgunned your orbit. So yeah, it's doable. There's a lot of consideration.
Yeah, moon gravity is very low.
Yeah. And so that's why I think it's really viable on the moon. It'd
Right.
be even more viable on an asteroid.
Mm.
Actually, you'd have to be careful on an asteroid.
It doesn't become their thruster too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
Yeah.
if you want that though,
Yeah, just every time you launch toward the Earth, it's getting closer. Of course, with an asteroid, maybe you have two mass drivers.
mm,
One launches the stuff that you want toward the Earth. The other launches the stuff that you don't care about away from the asteroid.
mm.
Of course, that leaves a whole bunch of stuff streaming into some kind of weird orbit around the sun. So, pluses and
Comets
minuses.
to order, anyone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or debris field. I think it wasn't Clark, but I remember 1950s, 60s.
Clark as in Arthur C. Clarke.
Arthur C. Clarke,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
1950s or 60s author. Might have been Asimov. It has my memory has the feel of Asimov to it, but I don't think it was him.
Okay.
But it was about a pilot being arrested for basically dropping space debris out of his ship, because any bit of space debris is something that someone else can hit.
Mm.
Now, space is big, but so it's not likely, and so not as big of a problem, I think, as they put it in the story. But it is something to think about. You want to be careful about what you launch where.
Yep.
And keep track of where it's going. But so rockets, pluses and minuses.
Yep.
The minus, number of
blowing
minuses.
up.
Blowing up, yeah.
Carrying your fuel with you.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Starlink. Well, the good thing about Starlink is they have a lifespan. They're coming back down.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Starlink is a good way to show that you can make money in space.
I thought we were going to be. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
Since you're talking.
Yeah.
Let's look at you.
Starlink is a good way to make money in space, showing people that you can make money in space. So that's the good thing about it. The bad thing is it makes astronomy a little bit difficult, but maybe it'll be like iridium flares. People will actually look at it and look up for
maybe.
again. That might be good.
And David says he's in the ocean.
Oh.
Wow.
In a rowboat.
What's wait. I can't tell if that's
severe flooding, but my suit protects me.
You're gonna have to tell me how much of that is for reals, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, next slide, or what are you doing? No.
Just
you want to go back to the slide though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Go back to the slide.
Let me help you out here.
Okay. There's a number of different things that you can do for rockets. I mean, number of different fuels.
Right.
I mean, heck, the least problematic is probably hydrogen and oxygen.
Yep.
Not a huge amount of thrust for it, but it's at least doesn't pollute the atmosphere.
You get water when you combine those. And you didn't really mention hybrids, which are somewhat minimal. They're kind of interesting though. And I think some of them, I'm going to hold off on what I was thinking.
Oh.
I think, okay, go ahead and read it.
Whatever happened to Starlink having a non-reflective coating put on them?
I thought Musk was going to do that.
Yeah, and the trouble is that there's only so non-reflective that you can get if the sun's shining on it. I don't know if he stopped doing it, didn't do it, or if he started doing it. I don't know. We'd have to look at that.
Yeah, if anyone knows out there, let us know. And TP Seeker, looks like you are a first-time commenter. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of, like hydrazine. It isn't really a nice fuel for the environment.
No.
And some of the byproducts of some of the rocket fuels are not good for the upper atmosphere.
Or breathing, or life, or
So again, and as Pam mentioned, you have to carry all that fuel with you.
Yep.
So I really wish there was something better, and that was part of this discussion.
Cool.
Now we're not going to discuss things like ion drives, simply because while they're the most efficient out there, I don't think they have the thrust to to get us out there. They can't get us off the Earth.
Oh yeah, they're not good in gravity wells.
Yeah, I don't even. They might be able to get us off of the moon, but I don't know. They'd be good for asteroid work.
Yeah.
Because they could definitely get us off of most asteroids.
Okay, you ready for the? Okay.
Yep.
Put you back
so
on.
the next one is actually a rocket, but I gave it its own category because it's a nuclear rocket, man. It's basically uses a reactor to just basically heat stuff up, and it's a steam powered rocket essentially.
Oh. Okay.
They're talking about using. Oh, let's see what is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and I will be getting to the space elevator.
Yeah, and I heard from Michael Lane in the recent past there were some issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to get these in about the order that, and space elevators were probably talked about before the Nerva rockets, but but I really like these because they can run on anything. They talk about running them on hydrogen because hydrogen will accelerate the fastest. So you throw it out because it's really light, it'll leave at the highest speed when you vaporize it.
Okay.
But you could throw anything in there. I mean, it's a nuclear reactor. It's hot, and it'll melt, vaporize just about anything you throw in it. So, used coffee grounds. There you go. There's some thrust.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
Yeah. No, that was a banana and a banana peel. Yeah, you need the banana peel. But so I like the Nerva rocket. There's another nuclear rocket that I'm not going to discuss here because the Orion, which NASA's reused the name, I don't think is a good one for launching off of the Earth. Because Orion involves having a back plate on the back of the rocket and tossing a nuke out behind it and using that to thrust it.
And Dave came back with are your rockets you are talking about returnable, reusable?
I would hope. I mean, really, returnable, reusable doesn't make a lot of difference for the rocket itself. I mean, how much extra mass do you put on it so that it can survive a reentry?
Okay.
That's all.
And to follow up, it's all about cost and turnaround for commercial interests.
Yeah, and that's why I personally like the reusables. The shuttle was an attempt at that, but wasn't really. I mean, it cost
very
so
few
much.
of us get in our car, drive one place once, and then discard it. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for reusable.
As the shuttle, I mean, take all the drive it one place, come back, basically tear down the engine, take off the side panels and repaint them and put them back on. I mean, that was the shuttle every single time.
For $2 billion a go.
Yeah, Musk I think has a much better system for that.
Yeah. It's
amazing. Not quite put fuel back in it and launch it again, but it's kind of getting there.
Well, and I think he's going to push the envelope until it is there. That's the beauty of it. And there are some advantages to working with someone in a commercial aspect like that. NASA has to be very careful. Elon basically claims if we're not failing around here, we're not doing our jobs.
Right. And
so they're all constantly trying and failing and testing and innovating all the time.
Yeah. And we don't, and he doesn't need to worry about optics. Here we go.
If we do, they're not telling us, Dave.
Yeah. So
We have
at,
no expertise in that area,
at the
actually.
moment, anti-grav is magic.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
so
any sufficient
yeah, any sufficiently high level.
advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah,
Arthur C. Clarke.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
Cool. Okay.
at the moment, that doesn't work. If it did, then H.G. Wells would have been right, and there would be a let's see, Danny Dunn. If anyone remembers that book series, Danny Dunn, really great. If you can ever find them, great series for kids.
Okay.
Very similar to Tom Swift.
Okay.
Again, if you can find them for kids.
Got it.
But so so there's rockets. It's oops. That's okay.
It's a more lively conversation that way, Dave. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah.
And with all your rain, and
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So I happen to like the Nerva rockets, just because the engine is there. You just have to throw stuff in it, and might be heavy to launch off the Earth, but once it's up there, you just have to keep refueling it.
Mm.
So I just like it a lot.
Okay.
We're not there, and in the 70s it was proposed, but it was the 70s, and it had the N word for them.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
Yeah.
And so once we're done with rockets, we've got space elevators, like David mentioned.
There you go, David. Space elevator.
Yeah. And Arthur C. Clarke, when asked when will we see a working space elevator, he said 50 years after we stop laughing about it. 50 years after they stop laughing.
All righty.
Unfortunately, we've been working on it. We're more than halfway to the 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so many issues for it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we have the material science yet for it to make something strong enough. I mean, they've left off the building up for hanging down.
Oh. Okay.
Throw them out, extend a mass out the other side of something that's in synchronous orbit, and just drop a cable down. Now, geostationary orbit, that's where communication satellites are.
Yep.
So that's how long the sucker has to be.
Yeah, that's very far away. Yeah.
And if you think about all that weight hanging, yeah, I think I mentioned that before you came on. Since we're talking about launching stuff off the Earth, I don't think ion drives can do it. I just don't think they have the thrust. They'd
be hard pressed to reach the 3G escape velocity, I think, right?
Yeah, well, I think that it'd just be too hard for them. I mean, I'd love it if we can get one that works for that. I mean, but I think you'd be like mostly rocket there.
Yeah, Cliff says nanotubes might be the answer for the space elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Lane's been looking into that, and I forget exactly what he said, but they definitely ran into problems, so he sort of switched gears.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Dave, he's got a comment.
Yeah, about ion drives. Yeah, I'm thinking inter-Earth moon, moon to asteroid belt. I think they'll be very useful.
Yeah.
Going to the asteroid belt, because
as they go, they keep accelerating, right?
Yeah, because they're so efficient, and also the asteroids don't have most of them don't have enough of a gravity well to make it hard to launch off of them.
Mm-hmm. And Scott has a comment. I do not see space elevators ever working. Even the atmosphere dragging on the cable would be huge. Yeah, and I think there's some electrical issues with that too, right?
Yeah, My concern would be, although you can put dampeners on it, would be getting some kind of resonant frequency in it from the atmosphere.
Oh, a new galloping Gertie, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can definitely put dampeners on it to prevent that, but there's so much. But every single dampener that you put on it adds weight.
Yeah.
So carbon nanotubes, if we can get it to work, that's probably how they're going to do it. Okay. Unless we come up with something that we don't know about.
And that's always possible.
Yeah.
And the more the more we innovate, the more stuff we learn, the more stuff we do, the more new cool things that happen.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it'd be great. Maybe for Mars, because Mars doesn't have as much of an atmosphere. Also, doesn't have as much of a
the dust storms, though, that might kick up a lot of static electricity.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The atmosphere is so thin that it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, there's going to be all kinds of possibilities and all kinds of people to test them. Yep. Fingers crossed. Let's get that going, people.
And there might be things that we're not going to discuss now because we don't know about them yet. And hey, I love it. But in space elevators, I think would be good for the moon if it weren't for the fact that I think mass drivers, as David mentioned, would be more efficient.
Oh, okay.
I think so. That's where I think I just don't see a use case for space elevators as we can currently build stuff. That'll change. I mean, you start getting into science fiction material, science fiction energy fields, all of that stuff, it becomes more viable. But if you've got the science fiction abilities to make a space elevator, you might have the science fiction abilities to not need it.
It's certainly a cool idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready for the next?
Sure.
Okay. There you go.
So, next one, airship to orbit. Now, JP Aerospace, and you can find them at jpaerospace.com. Really good concept here. And, you think of an airship as an atmospheric thing. Oh.
Well, okay.
Okay, let's just...
David came in with, just as an aside, to curb the fuel cost from Moon to Earth or return mining asteroids too. Remember, helium-3 is moon-based and might be tapped for fuel source. Yeah, and there's actually a lot more in other places in the solar system too.
Yes.
If
we ever get to Uranus, that's a gold mine of helium-3.
Yeah, was it Josh who was talking about that with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few guests ago.
Yeah.
Josh Carlson was talking to us about all that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yep, it's a very, very wealthy solar system.
Yeah.
We just have to get to it.
Yeah. So I'm going to unshare right now.
Okay.
Okay. So airship to orbit actually theoretically works, and we could build it today. And JP Aerospace.
JP
he's working on
iterating. He iterates like continually. It's fascinating to watch.
His system was not a single vehicle. He uses a regular airship to get up to basically a transfer station. Basically float something on the upper, reaches up the atmosphere, goes to the airship that actually leaves orbit. The secondary airship, the one that you saw the image of, is actually airfoil shaped. And they spin it out of the atmosphere. Basically, the air's thin enough that it can go really fast, and it's airfoil shaped, so it gains lift from its speed. And the faster it goes, the higher it goes, the thinner the air is, so the faster it can go. And he said that he can get, just spinning out of the atmosphere, he can get enough delta V on that sucker to get to Mars. And one of the things that he said is that Mars ground level atmospheric pressure is the same pressure that he'd be launching from in the upper atmosphere. So, so that could happen. I mean, yeah, let's see. But sci-fi isn't, is not real 1 year, and the next year is
or 20 years or 30 years or 60.
Yeah.
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 I know.
We've seen that.
Yeah, I know, Cliff. It's just we can't predict it. We can't say that this is the way we're going to go. Yeah. We could say this is the way that we hope, but yeah, I tend to work in, I build the future on Legos that I have. You're talking. Good. Yeah. Most powerful plasma rockets in the world is currently in the variable specific impulse magnetoplasma rocket. Bessemer. Yep. Being developed by that. Oh, okay.
I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
If you know someone, let's get them on as a guest. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now, if it can get to Mars in 39 days, that'd be
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tex made it after all. Hi, Tex.
Yeah. Hi, Tex. Listening on my coffee break.
Yeah. He's in a big meeting.
In emergency planning. Yeah.
Why, thank you.
But you might want to pay attention to that one, Tex. Just in case.
Yours is more important, though.
Yeah. But
glad you could be here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get to Mars in 39 days, that solves a lot of problems, especially radiation.
A lot.
I mean, radiation would still be an issue.
And is that 39 days like in the
probably the
most
2 year
optimized positioning? Or okay.
I would imagine.
Yeah, that'd be wow.
But every 2 years, spend a month, a month and a little bit getting there. That's doable. That would be doable. It still needs some shielding.
Well, I guess there's lava tubes on Mars, like there are on the moon. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we've got Anthony Albans. Welcome.
Oh, hey, thanks,
thank you. Yeah, we had fun with Fraser. That was an impromptu show because we were missing a guest and we were missing one of the journalists too. So thanks.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it sometime. I was at work when you do that show.
So are you done with slides? And because I wanted to mention something.
One more, but go ahead.
One more. In regards to the airship to orbit, the smallest vehicle has 2 kilometers per side. That V shape, it's 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
Long per side.
Yeah.
That's the smallest one.
Yeah, and it's very gossamer, so it would never survive down into, like, it could never land on Earth. The air's too thick.
Well, okay, so there's three bits.
Yeah, like
the first one, of course, is coming from Earth,
and then the transfer station. Yeah.
To the dark sky site, right? It's got dark sky DSS, dark sky station, and then that one. And you had a picture of the big one, right? The one that's going. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, just there's 3 parts of that. We should probably talk to JP, see if he'll be a guest on our show.
Yeah. Yeah. It also can't land on the moon.
Which one? The one that goes to Mars?
Airship to orbit. Because, well, it could possibly land on the moon. It wouldn't be able to get back off very easily.
Oh, no air.
Yeah, no air, so it wouldn't be able to spin out of the gravity well. Right. Now, the moon might be low enough that whatever thrusters they put on it would be able to get it off the moon. But it might, my thought on it would be that you just loop it around the moon and drop off or pick up,
Got it.
From low.
And I see something from Scott, but there's no words. So Scott, if you have a comment, let us know. We want to hear you.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you.
Unless you just hit the keyboard, which
that's okay too.
I've done. So airship to orbit, neat concept. We could actually build it. It just needs funding.
They're working on it.
Quite frankly, all of the problems are solved. All of the engineering is solved. It just needs to get built. And it trades time for cost. I mean,
I think they've likened it to taking a cruise ship across the ocean versus an aeroplane. So this is when you're on the ground, you wind up and up and up and up to get to. Just agreeing with Anthony. Good.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So
much.
That's like a comment.
I see.
Push,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in StreamYard here, so we see it from the studio perspective.
Yeah, and we don't see it probably the same way you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last method, and this is something that um, someone we know, Jordan Kerr, was very
Mm.
interested in this and working on this. Laser launch, kind of like a hybrid on rockets, in that and the one on the right is much more detailed about it. There's two ways of doing it. This is the probably the most viable way of getting any kind of mass on there. You
Mm.
put water or something else volatile. Oh,
Why don't you hold off on
okay.
that? Finish your slide.
Water or something else volatile on it,
Yep.
and you basically aim lasers at it to boil off the water.
Right.
Um, into a um, you know, thrust chamber, and that means that you're not putting a lot of volatiles in the atmosphere. All of your energy generation is on the earth.
Yep.
So you know, it's a way of doing it. There's also another way of just using the light pressure and either heating up the air underneath it, and Lars, there was someone else at
Yes. And we're talking how long ago now?
Yeah.
We went to many space development conferences and heard from a lot of people who had wonderful PowerPoints, and these were all very speculative and ideas.
Well, he actually had a device that he was able to launch fairly high.
Yes,
but it was smaller than a dinner plate.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know if it would scale up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Will it scale up?
Yeah. Now, the nice thing is that if you get one of these out there, you could possibly then use solar cells, and that's another thrust method that I'm not discussing, because solar cells won't get you off the earth.
No.
They might be great for once you're out there.
Yeah.
But
well, and maybe that's another show at some point.
Yeah.
So was that the description for this slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can.
Well, we have a comment. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure you said what you needed saying. And
so on-moon mining will again reduce costs. Yes, that's why I think we really need to get to the moon. Of low-cost Earth transfer vehicle.
I like that. Space mining is going to rock soon.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's 20 times less costly to get something into low Earth orbit from the moon than it is from Earth.
Mm.
That's
significant.
Yeah. That's why, if we're going to get to anywhere outside of the Earth system, we need to mine the moon and launch from there. Because we just can't afford to do it off of the Earth.
All righty. Anything else on your slides?
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's go into this next part. We should decide who's doing what here.
Yeah.
All right. So one of these days I'm going to have Tracy redo it, because she just sent me a wonderful, amazing, really cool video that I will be showcasing soon. It's so interesting. Anyway, and that will get much better too. So, all right. Some stellar events this week, and we're talking March 25th through April the 1st. Globe at Night is still going. And these are projects that run for 10 days at a time. This one's from March 23rd to April the 1st. And you basically go outside, take a picture of the target. And in this case, we're talking Leo in the northern hemisphere and Crux in the southern hemisphere. You compare it to the charts they have on their website, and you report to them what it looks like in your area. On March the 25th is the last quarter moon. March 26th is Pluto and the moon are in conjunction. On the 27th, Mars and the moon are in conjunction. On the 28th, Venus and the moon are in conjunction, as well as Saturn and the moon in conjunction. In fact, remember from the quote before, look for a triangle from the 24th to the 26th with Mars on the right, Saturn to the left, and Venus at the top. On the 28th, the waning crescent moon dangles below the triangle's remnant, a nice four-way conjunction. That is from the Old Farmer's Market, Almanac, one of my very favorite resources. And remember, this is going to be in the morning in the east before sunrise. On the 29th, Venus and Saturn are in conjunction. On March the 30th, Jupiter and the moon are in conjunction, and Neptune and the moon are in conjunction. Of course, Neptune, lots dimmer. On March the 30th, the weekly space hangout is going to be presenting Searching for Skylab with director Dwight Stephen Bonicki. Now that ought to be interesting. On March the 31st,
well, except Searching for Skylab, just ask an Australian. They can point to where it is because
okay,
it landed on Australia, or at least parts of it did.
I don't know. On March the 31st, Mercury and the moon are in conjunction. April 1st is the new moon, and we're back to Friday night show. And I'm thinking about talking about astronomy hacks. So find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel. Now, Jeff's going to take over the next part, except right before the show. Okay, good. We'll do comments. And right before the show, I found something really, really cool. And I have to tell you tonight because the deadline is Monday. So go ahead with the comments.
Okay. David says, some think a large balloon taking a vehicle halfway to space when blasting to orbit is money efficient. Now, that's actually what JP got started in, JP Aerospace.
A raccoon.
The trouble is he found that it doesn't really give you much. Because, yes, you don't have to push through the atmosphere. And, yes, the gravity is slightly lower up there. But the amount of fuel that you save for that little bit of gravity loss and a little bit of atmospheric pressure isn't that great compared to how much balloon structure you'd have to use to get a relatively, because you still have to reach escape velocity.
Yep.
So you still need almost all the same thrust that you would need launching off the Earth.
Yep.
I mean, you're almost better off building on, say, a really tall mountain.
And this is the wonderful thing about, a variety of people testing out different things. This is what we're learning. We now understand that that's an issue, and it's possibly somewhat negligible.
I think that's where the whole spinning an airship out of the atmosphere, I think that's where JP got the idea, because he realized that once you're up there, you still need the velocity. So I think that's what he did.
All right.
Oh. Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in, Cliff.
Yeah, we all look at old photos of ourselves, right? I had my own weight loss program in July, August, but
not recommended.
Yeah,
not recommended. Yeah, what else do we have? Cell social came down to bits.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Oh, the stress clouds. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, sometimes you can see water.
I think he's saying a lot of water. All right, so let's get into this next part here. And I'm going to start off by talking about this thing. Let's see. Let me bigify it here. This I just found from our friend Janet. Win a flight on 0G and fly like an astronaut. And this is for young people. Do I still have the...
You have to tab to it.
Yeah, it's a national essay competition, and the deadline is Monday, March the 28th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. They say, tell us why you want to go to space, and you could be one of 2 students between age 8 and 12 selected to win a 0 gravity flight. That's spacekids.global, SPACEKIDS.global. To learn more on the essay competition rules and registration. And if you're going to do that, go quick.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Ends on Monday, as in 2 days from now.
Yeah.
In some places.
Yeah, 2 to 3 days from now.
Right. All right. Thanks for your patience. Okay, Jeff.
Okay.
Whoops, I did it again. You gonna pull it off, or should I? Okay.
Okay, there you go. Well, that is on topic for here because it is an ongoing activity, except that it's not ongoing for very long.
I just learned about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think they announced it in February. So.
Yeah, but we just saw Janet's post not too long ago. So.
Right, like less than an hour ago.
Yeah. So ongoing events and activities. Third opportunity to nominate a student with perseverance. Open March 24th.
Yesterday.
I was questioning whether past tense or not, but 6th through 8th grade students in the U.S. Public, private, or home schools, 4 rounds total, so there will be one after this. Pretty some cool awards. Let's see, David. Oh, nice. I rode the flight simulator.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
I didn't know that. Or if I did, I forgot.
Are they still doing tickets to the moon? No.
Yeah. That's the next one. Fly. There it is. Fly your name around the moon. And here's the link. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Pan Am.
Oh, that.
Because Pan Am Airlines, way back in the 70s,
and they're gone.
Were actually selling tickets to the moon.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
because they were assuming. Well, yeah, they were featured in the movie 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh.
As the vehicle that was flying.
Right. That's right.
So.
However,
fly your name around the moon. It's still ongoing. Add your name to the Artemis 1 test flight of the Space Launch System rocket and the Orion spacecraft. I still can't see Orion spacecraft without thinking of a nuclear bomb flying out the end of it. But, hey.
And there's the link. It should be clickable in the comment sections.
Yeah. When we looked, it was like 1.8 million people had signed up.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And I think they're going to do it at least, sometime before launch day.
Cool.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Yep. My mouse doesn't scroll that. ESA
Let me help you.
Build your web challenge. That's get creative. Build your own model of the James Webb Space Telescope using any materials you like.
Food included.
Yeah. And they have winners listed there too. Let's see. Yep. I'm assuming you're talking about 2001: Space Odyssey, David?
That's Cliff.
No, that's David right there.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was looking at Cliff. Okay.
No, bunch of comments showed up all at once.
Beg your pardon.
Scott, I got my ticket to the moon a couple days ago. Yep. Such a fun idea. I told my sister to get tickets for her kids. They loved them. Yeah. I like things like this because,
Here's mine.
Yeah. Because,
I love this. 1.3 million miles.
Is that it's a cheap and easy way to get involved in space. So
it's fun.
I like that NASA's doing that. And Cliff says 2001 saw it when he was 8. I probably saw it when I was 8 too, but I don't know if I saw it in the theaters. Well,
was that the first time it was out? Because I saw it when I was 16, and I know it came back. So
yeah,
my dad took us.
Yeah, I remember not knowing what the heck that movie was about.
Really?
The first parts of it were kind of interesting.
Oh.
Then it started going off into the weeds, and
okay.
Yeah. Oh, for the moon tickets.
Oh, the ad. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, James Webb is age range 6 through 19. and no location on it. So anyone anywhere can enter, as long as, I guess, you have an internet connection, which I guess you wouldn't be hearing from us if you didn't.
All right, so if you or someone has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, astronomy, some of our commenters we should really get on the show too, right? Or bring back. We would love to share our live. Join us again next Friday. That's April the 1st. And I will be talking about astronomy hacks. And before we go, I want you to know that I have received a message from an astronaut, and we are working together to get a date to bring the astronaut on as our guest.
You've got a date with an astronaut?
Don't be too jealous, darling. All right, so we will stick around just a little longer to see if anyone else has questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Got a really good image off of it.
And everybody was all upset and how long it was taking. It's all worthwhile now. Well, at least I think so.
And we're not really going to see what they call the pretty pictures until midsummer, but we're seeing pictures, and that's pretty.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're really excited to have this astronaut come and be a guest on our show. We just have to work out the date.
Yeah. All right. I hope for their sake that they're West Coast.
We'll see what happens.
Because East Coast starts at midnight.
Yeah. Well, and we have a workaround. If in fact it's midnight for our guest, we can do a tape and then bring in segments during our live show and have our conversation. It'll probably be me with our astronaut, and we'll just splice it into the show. Yeah,
not my preferred, because I like you guys being able to interact with our guests. Yeah, but at least you'll be able to hear them if that's the case. But with any luck, he'll be on live.
And it's really interesting because I say that to people and they're like, oh, I don't want to stay up till midnight. And then they watch some of our episodes with our guests and then they're like, I'll come at midnight. Because they want to be live. They want to have that, I guess, audience interaction.
Yeah. So. I mean, and a lot of these people, now the astronaut probably gets a lot of interaction.
A
lot of these guys probably don't get a lot of interaction. So.
Yeah, well, we're really excited to bring really anybody. Yeah. We want to have as much diversity and interesting people. And we can't wait either, Cliff. Thanks so much. All right, folks, unless we have a last comment here, I'm going to send us out. Have a great week, folks, and we'll see you on Friday, April the 1st. Good night.
Good night.